Hey everybody, it's John DeYoung, and today we're talking about using a combination of free weights with additional resistance using resistance bands. This is going to get us to overload the muscle through the full range of motion, because as you push out towards the top part of the motion, the resistance bands are going to stretch, add more stress to the muscle. And the free weights will add more stress to the muscle at the initial point of the exercise. So we're going to hit a whole range of motion using free weights with band resistance. And also the great thing about bands is that they accentuate the eccentric, or the negative part of the movement, on the way down, and that's going to maximize hypertrophy, because the resistance is even more difficult on the way down if you were just using free weights. So the band resistance is fantastic. Right now I'm going to show you 5 of my favorite resistance band exercises combined with free weight presses. All 5 of these were on my YouTube shorts. If you want to look at them again, you can go on there, but I'm going to go over all 5 of them right now and tell you exactly what the band function is and why we're using it in that exercise. So let's hit number 1. Here I'm performing a seated shoulder press using a resistance band anchored in front of me. This exercise is going to crush all 3 deltoid heads. It's going to fire your external rotators, and it keeps you from pushing the bar too far forward, which a lot of people tend to do. So it may look unsafe, but it's extremely safe and extremely effective. In this exercise, I'm performing a dumbbell chest press with bands anchored out to the side. And in this variation of that exercise, the bands pull diagonally, driving the arms and dumbbells laterally away from the midline, forcing me to fight just to keep the dumbbells on their intended path, creating a crazy, insane contraction. Wait till you try this one. It's incredible. And here I'm doing a standing barbell curl. I've added resistance bands around the bar, attached them to the floor. This is really awesome, coming up to a 90-degree curl, and then that negative is really pulling on my muscles to accentuate that maximum hypertrophy. Sometimes the bands are a little long, so you can tie knots in them. As you see, I have like 2 knots in each side. And here for the 4th exercise, I'm performing a seated rows using a mini band around my arms. This is going to crush your upper back and lats. It's also going to avoid arm fatigue. So you're really focusing on retracting the scapula to about 90 degrees and not so much on your arms. And lastly, here is a bird dog row using a kettlebell that I used a mini band, an elastic mini band around my ankle. So that wiggling around is going to make you try to focus even more on crazy stabilization, core, spine alignment, as well as glutes, and of course back activation. Wait till you try this one. It's crazy good. So those are so much fun. Definitely sometimes use a spotter if you can. Check your bands, make sure there's no little nicks in them. If they rip, you're going to be in trouble. And again, you could add knots to the bands. Sometimes the resistance is either too little, so you need to add resistance, and make sure you have the same amount of knots on each side, okay? And some other guidelines to follow for maximum hypertrophy using this band resistance would be to keep the reps between 6 to 10 reps, using about 65 to 75% of your 1 rep max. So obviously bring the weight down that you're going to be doing. Use a slow tempo. We want 4 seconds on the negative, fire it up in 1, hold for 1, 4 seconds on the negative. Okay, that's going to really maximize the lift. And also for this type of workout, I wouldn't go more than 4 or 5 weeks in a row using resistance bands for this kind of hypertrophy. A lot of stress on the body and on the nervous system. So change your mesocycle after 4 to 5 weeks, do something else. Don't use the bands, go heavy, do high reps. Whatever it is your next mesocycle is, your next 4 to 6 week program. But again, no more than 4 to 6 weeks. And again, these are 3/4 inch resistance bands, the monster straps, or they call them pull-up straps. I'll put that in the description. And another link to Amazon for those little, for the loops. They're 12 inches, okay? They sell like 9-inch ones. You want to get the 12-inch ones. The 9-inch, anything smaller than 12 is really too tight. So 12-inch resistance loops, 3/4 inch pull-up straps, in the description. Get them on Amazon. Great deal. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. Have fun. Send some comments. I'm curious how these exercises go. And hit subscribe. All right. Take care.